Hello, my name's Fox, and so they named Fox. And technically, it was yesterday, but for the last few days, I've been watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the reboot. Which I'm gonna try to structure this a bit more. I've kind of like made like points. I'm gonna try to structure it because everything that people said, one of the criticism a lot of people do say is like structure it. And I'm like, I don't know how, so I'm just gonna try this. I'm not gonna write a script, but anyways, He-Man Masters of the Universe, which one I really love, which actually recently someone got me these. I got He-Man. I got He-Man, Skeletor, and Ram-Mam, which these are the first three. And I got these before I finished this season, and it's really funny that I did. I'm like, huh. I also have I pre-ordered on Amazon or ordered on Amazon the Sorceress, Evelyn, Battle Cat, and I think I just need to get Man at Arms. Technically, there's probably more like Lockjaw and there's Man E faces too right now. But in any case, He-Man Master of the Universe, the reboot. I like this season a lot. It's really good. I'm gonna go through each bit. I like this season a lot. The story. I'm not gonna try to spoil certain things. But basically, the story for this season, and this is the story synopsis, is basically takes place after Grayskull disappeared and all this stuff, and Skeletor basically winning and taking over the kingdom. The group then has to try to stop Skeletor, and also save Eternia or Eternos. And the group is kind of split up, and a lot of this season the characters are kind of split up, which is really cool because it does show like these characters are very dimensional. I guess they have really good dimensions. I guess like more good characters. The one where like you're okay if He-Man isn't in the picture all the time, and I like that. Basically, story synopsis of this is Skeletor is looking for the pieces of Hiss, or the Hiss sigil, or I can't remember what it's called. And basically, it's part of the whole thing that they kind of alluded to. I rewatched season 1, and I'm happy I kind of did, because there were some things there's some jokes that cross over into this season, which I think only one of them I probably would have gotten, because I think I completely forgot that they talked about the snake people in season 1. And I did, because I completely was like, oh yeah, the snake people, like in the trailer reaction. But basically, they're trying to find the Mark of Hiss or whatever, which is broken up into three Sith holocrons. And they had to find these pieces, and before Skeletor does, because if Skeletor brings all three of them together, he'll apparently have the power to summon an army of the dead. Basically to summon the snake men. Undead snake men. So basically, this season is basically kind of I want to say fetch quest, but it's them trying to find this stuff. While this is going on, it's He-Man, Man at Arms, and Battle Cat. Battle Cat and Ram-Mam are the ones trying to find the pieces, while Orko, the Sorceress, or Tila, and the King are hiding underground, or the underground city where Tila apparently grew up, where you see more hand witches. That's where they meet Man E faces, where he is the king of the underground, which is really cool. And basically, like, he's been scorned by like the royal family, because he was like he was kind of like the entertainer I guess, for King for Prince Adam's father's father. And it's funny because Orko was basically that way back, which they kind of bond over that a little bit. But it's really much separated like that. There's a whole mystery on what happened to the first sorceress now, because she's not appearing for whatever reason. But it looks like also that Tila is slowly kind of gaining in power, because she's starting to do the hologram, kind of appearing in Castle Grayskull and other places, which also then begs the question of, and I think it is answered that the first sorceress, is not actually a ghost, which is cool. But I'll bring that later. But this, and basically it's kind of a race for these pieces and stuff like that, as well as hinting at some cool things, such as Havoc and the Power. They probably call it something else. I think it's just the Power of Grayskull they call it, but the Power and Havoc are actually like, it's kind of like the light and the dark side kind of thing, obviously, but or light and the dark side, how I answer. But there is a point where they're merged together, and the pieces of Hiss are kind of like that. And we kind of learn later on that other characters kind of have those abilities. It's basically kind of a race for them to get those pieces, stuff like that, while also having other little adventures kind of in between, which you have separate episodes with like He-Man and Battle Cat helping with Teela. You have Man-at-Arms with another character I really love, and all these other things. It's really good. I really like that stuff. Let's see here. And also, like, let's see. Okay, next is character designs. Character designs, because they do introduce some new character designs, such as Stratos, the Avian King, where he doesn't actually have wings himself. He has, like, arm wings. He's kind of reminds me of Falcon. His design's pretty cool. It's alright. Like, it's not my favorite design, but he's a pretty cool character. I thought he was alright. He's a pretty cool character towards the end of his arc, because he is kind of like, she's like, oh yes, I'm the ruler, the king. And yeah, no. They do add stuff like Mosquitor. They bring him in, but now it's her. And she's pretty cool. Though it is funny when she drinks energy, it kind of goes over her boobs. And I'm just thinking, like, I could think of somebody wrong. Like, it just gets, I was thinking, like, are those going to get bigger? I'm like, I'm confused. I don't know. Maybe that was just me. And then there's, Rebtor, that they bring up at one point, which he was pretty cool too. Like, especially because if you look up the toys, because I think Mosquitor and Webtor are both characters who didn't actually make it into the original show, but they were toys made, and they were like towards the end of the series. And now they're actually in it. Cool. And Gary. Anyways, let's see here. Character design. Yeah, those character designs are pretty good. King Grayskull looked badass as all hell. You don't see him, you only see the drawing of him, but it's actually really cool. Also, to kind of tie in with the story synopsis before, there's also like kind of set up things with like a nemesis. Like each character has their own nemesis. Actually, you know what? I'll bring that later, because new character designs and new characters. Yeah, the designs are, most of the designs are pretty much the same for all the characters, except for like the new ones, obviously. Which, they're all pretty good. Man-E-Face was pretty cool. Like, it is kind of funny, though, because his head is kind of set up where like, it has no way it can connect to either side of anything that's around his head. So it kind of just floats there, I guess. And also, he did that to himself to give him, like, I guess, more acting stuff. I'm like, alright, cool. I'm like, I like it. And especially because Man-E-Face is pretty badass. Like, at one point, like, he's an actor kind of guy. And I'm thinking, like, oh, does that mean he's not actually, like, a brute? And it's like, no, he gets shot, and he's just like, walks up, beats the hell out of him, or when he starts getting tasered, it doesn't do anything to him. I'm like, okay, he's a badass. Alright, he's a tank. New characters, yeah, Stratos. Already talked about him, Man-E-Faces. He's pretty cool, the King of the Underground, where he was the royal magic man. Not magic man, he was a theatrical troupe, basically. He was really cool, and I liked his whole thing, especially with, like, also tied with that in character design. The hand witches look badass, seeing more people who use, like, the witch magic that, Teela does, which also I feel like the creators, like, they really like Naruto, and they're like, we can make someone have those magic, have, like, those kind of simple things. That's why Teela's kind of ninja-like, but also use the hand signs to do magic. I don't know. I like that hand magic stuff. Let's see, character interaction. Okay, and then, let's see. Character interactions. Before I get off with new characters, Triclops. Triclops is in this, and I first saw him like, I don't know if I really like his design. And then when I saw him on someone, because Triclops always has like that disc or whatever. I like what this show did with it, where it's the disc, yeah, but it plops onto someone's head and basically controls them. And I'm like, that is a smart way to do that. That is a really smart way to add a little bit more to that. Character interactions. I guess that kind of cuts that. But character interactions. This has a lot of cool character interactions. I'm going to try to things like character meetups, because one of my favorite things in this is I'm missing a lot. Anyways, character action. One thing I really love about this season is they tried to put Skeletor with so many of the good guys at so many different times just to see reactions that could happen from this. And I love that. Like, there's a point where they're trying to get a piece of hiss from a train that's going around in circles, and like, if you try to fight anyone inside here, these robots inside will explode and destroy the cart. So He-Man and Skeletor have to play nice so they can get the piece. And it's really funny because it's just like, and it also leads to Skeletor also getting a robot falling in love with him. Which is great. I was like, alright, that's pretty funny. Then like there's another point where Skeletor, which honestly right now, I love, because things, setups that happen. Just as like at one point Orko kind of recreates his own version of like whatever the Orko's people are by integrating himself with the main system of all those robots, so that now all of them think they're Orko now. So in other words, it's the Orkening from season 1, and I'm like, huh, I totally forgot about that until I rewatched the third season and saw it. I'm like, oh crap, I'm really happy I saw it. And then there was there's a few things like what was it? Not so much sharing the power. Oh, it kind of. Like, another setup that they did, because one thing that the main characters are also trying to do, other than trying to find the piece of hiss, are trying to destroy the Havoc Staff. Which, like, is kind of set up that, yeah, if you destroy the main weapon, which it was set up when the Sword of Power got destroyed in season 1, that all the power from all the other things gets destroyed, basically. And that's basically, what their idea is for the Havoc Staff. Destroy that, and like, alright, cool. But another one that I didn't think was going to be a setup, but it was, and I'm happy it was, and it's really funny, because I said this in the season 1 review, because it had me dying laughing, was towards the final battle of season 1, where He-Man and his friends come in, and like, He-Man's riding Battle Cat, and Skeletor goes, I want a Battle Cat for my birthday! and that had me laughing so hard. And then only until this season, where he's actually having a birthday, and he's like, all I want is a Battle Cat for my birthday. And I'm like, oh my god, they're really, he wasn't even a joke. Like, he legitimately wanted a Battle Cat for his birthday. I'm like, oh my god. And an episode literally ties around Skeletor's birthday, and I love that so much. And it's also that he gets stuck in Castle Grayskull with Man-at-Arms. And it's really funny. I love the interactions between all of them. And also, I really do feel like this is going to set up when He-Man and Skeletor are going to have to team up, where those two groups are going to have to team up to fight either the Hiss or the Horde. Because they already did at the Fright Zone. New characters, character interactions. But yeah, I loved that a lot. Let me see. What was the other thing? Skeletor. Also, like, there's a point where Skeletor and Man-at-Arms, before they kind of, like, were like, okay, fine. Skeletor chases him through the castle, because they're kind of locked in. Chases him through the castle, and it's very Scooby-Doo, like, like, oh, he's up here. Now I'm down through this door. And he's here. I'm gonna climb up here. And it's like, the animation is really damn good. I love the animation of this goddamn show. It's so good. There's also a point where Skeletor's trying to read a book. He's like, aha, I can't read this. And he's like, well, don't worry. Not everyone can read. And he's like, Skeletor's like, no, you idiot. I can't read Orkanese or whatever the hell this is. I'm like, that's great. Also, like, for interactions, Ram Man actually brings up about Nemesis. That, like, there's a portrait where you see, you think it's in season 1, where you see, like, the characters, like, each character has a nemesis. He-Man's is Skeletor, obviously. Battle Cat's is Beastman. Man-at-Arms is Locke, is Trapjaw. The Sorceress is Evelyn. But Ram Man doesn't have a nemesis, and you wonder, like, kind of who it is. Which I thought it was going to be the Mosquito Girl, because I was being like, alright, that's a cool setup. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be her nemesis. No, I was wrong. I was wrong. I won't spoil it, but her nemesis is pretty freaking cool. Pretty good. Although I will say, character designs, I wish her nemesis would have looked a little bit more monstrous. I'm just going to say that. I wish her nemesis looked a little bit more monstrous, but I do like certain things that happen in this too. Like, interactions mixed in with the the power in Havoc, because there's a point where especially in this season, like I don't think I noticed much in season 1, like Skeletor using chains like around his arm, like using chains to grab people and like grab his staff and all this. I don't think I really noticed that much, but he does use that a lot in this, which is really good because at one point you see a character who's wielded the power before, but then also then starts wielding Havoc. And it's really cool seeing that, because at one point what looks like, oh yeah, this is like, I don't want to give it away, but like, let's say someone has, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without trying to give it away. If someone has, let's say, shoots an energy beam out of their hands, channeled through Havoc, it's a chain, and so like chains are just connected to Havoc itself. And also, I love the transformations. I think I said this is the first one too, season 1 too. I love with the transformations. Whenever someone transforms using Havoc, it's almost like a monster movie happens, and it's really freaking cool. I also do like that they kind of do. It's a trope that I love, and it happens in the Arkham Knight, where there's a character who's kind of dead, but it's still inside someone's head, kind of thing. And I like that, and it just kind of messes with them while being like a ghost. I love that. That happens in this. I love that. If you've seen the show, you know what happened, who I'm talking about. And I like that a lot. There's another thing I want to bring up. What was it? It was about the interaction. Oh, it's funny because I like this season a lot, and I like Revelations a lot, so I'll do a review on Revelations soon too. There's a lot of crossover between them, which I like. Which I really like, and it's funny because I wonder how many people like this season and then are hating on Revelations. Because there's things like Evelyn at one point gets kicked out by Skeletor and wants to regain her Havoc powers by getting the pieces of Sigil, the pieces to regain her Havoc abilities. She wants to get out. She wants to have power outside of Skeletor, which is kind of similar to what happens to Evelyn in the other one. Also, the point where Evelyn's, like, I guess spirit animal, like the sorceress is like a falcon or an eagle. Hers is bats, which I never really caught on to, at least beforehand. Maybe in the original show they set something up like that. I never caught on to that. But in this, it also ties into, hers is whole bats too, where it's one where she summons like a bat astral creature. And so I'm like, that's kind of cool. What was it? I like that. They set up also things like Skeletor being a transformation, though in Skelegod is a transformation on top of Skeletor. It turns out, Kaldor, like when he turns to Skeletor, that is his, He-Man transformation. I don't know if he can power down. I think he says he doesn't know if he can or can't. But, yeah, that's kind of cool. And also sets up, one where Man-at-Arms says, wait, have you not powered down since becoming Skeletor? And Skeletor's and that's cool because, that's kind of what happens with the Skeletor in Revelations. He never wants to power down from Skelegod. He wants to stay in that form. I like that. That's cool. And again, this is more he's probably trapped in this form, maybe, but I don't know. I like that whole bit. The animation is freaking beautiful on this. But yeah, the character actions are so damn good. There's a lot of bleed over between the two, and I'm going to talk more about some of that. And obviously certain things like Tila becoming the sorceress, or gaining the power of the sorceress, stuff like that. Becoming the sorceress, I like that too. Evelyn not being all that evil, and she might be someone, a character who kind of flip-flops between becoming an anti-hero, maybe. I like that. The Revelation, they have very similar things. I want to know what the thing is. I know people are still hating on Revelations, even though I loved it. But I wonder how those same people are acting towards this season. Because this season has a lot of similar ideas thrown in there. And I'd say both of them did it very well their own ways. So I kind of want to see how that is. Even kind of, it kind of even set up, in season 1, the idea of, well, not He-Man, but characters using the power without needing the sword, I guess. Because, Man-at-Arms, Sorceress, Ram Man, so on, they don't need the sword, they need their weapons, but they don't need the sword to transform. And I like that. And I also like the idea of the interaction between Havoc and the power being two sides of the same coin. It's really cool. But Let me see, is there anything else? Skeletor has a robot love. Triclops. He-Man and Skeletor having to work together. Yeah, they do that through a dance, which is great. Also, I love a point where Skeletor sees He-Man again, and he goes, "I liked you better when you were dead, nephew." Also, Evelyn, like, knowing, like, who Stratos is, go like, Skeletor, you don't want a war with the bird people. and almost saves him from, like, creating a war like that. Oh yeah, at one point, one character, I can't remember what happens. The guy almost dies, he goes, "Ah!" And someone goes, he'll be fine. Also, Beastman and Lockjaw at one point when they're fighting over the throne when Skeletor disappears at one point, they stand in the throne room and it looks like a fight. Like they kind of go doo 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 doo, and like there's a music in the background, like if it's like an arcade game. I'm like, that's kind of funny. But maybe that's setting up like a He-Man fight game or some point. I don't know. There's some toys that are coming out because I think the Pain Thor. I have little figures of the He-Man characters, and Pain Thor, which is Skeletor's battle cat in this version, but it's a motorcycle. I had a toy of him, like the little toys of them, before this season came out. Which there's a on Amazon right now. There's a He-Man where he has armor that looks very similar to Grayskull's armor. Which I'm looking at that now, and I'm thinking like, I think they're literally kind of going back to the old-fashioned idea of here's some new ideas for toys. Work it into the story, which in one sense I like that because they have to now be creative with this idea, but also I hope like they're also working like, look, let's try doing this and stuff like that. So be wary on toys because the toys might actually slowly be revealing bits of stuff that'll happen later in the future. But also I like how Stratos' kingdom, like we see it from far away, or where Castle Grayskull comes in, it's like far off, like at the distance, and for some reason breaks the one statue that's there, and he just leaves just an ass. But I guess it's foreshadowing for Stratos for most of the season. But the cities of that is far off in the distance, and we never see what's inside the city or any other people other than the guards and Stratos. Which I'm like, all right, that's a good way to be like, yeah, we're gonna have a new area, but we're also gonna make it as cheap as possible. That way we don't have to animate any more people or have to animate certain streets and all that. Pretty smart move. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the season was good. I liked it. Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. What you that I've done. Tell me if you like this structured one better. I don't know if it is that structured, but yeah. Thanks for watching 3 videos. Hope you enjoy this. I still feel like I was around, and we will have the power!